Today we will be interviewing our fellow Sydney students to learn more about what they think about
gender, culture, and environment.
What do you think is the relationship between gender and the environment?
At least to my knowledge, like environmental crisis disproportionately affects women, for example. So I went to Indonesia where like wells and stuff, like people still get their water from wells, and it's usually the woman's task to do that. So just that like if those wells suddenly dry up, then it's like disproportionately burdens the woman to do stuff like that. So just that's one example, but that's my basic understanding. Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome.
I guess that we're socialized into a particular system that our environment kind of controls, I guess.
Just keep going.
We're socialized in our environments basically, and we need specific things, and like in the environment there's also social aspects that facilitate how we act in the environment.
That's cool, yeah.
So we were wondering how you think culture and environment are tied together.
I think they're tied together. Like culture has a big effect on how the population treat the environment. Obviously, like the environment is garbage right now. It's just all falling apart. The world's dying, and I think like certain aspects of culture have like changed to like that's just become a natural part of it. Like I think in a lot of TV and movies you see now, like that's a part of like the plot that everyone's well aware is like, yep, the earth is dead. Whereas like maybe 20, 30 years ago, like that isn't a thing that anyone thought about. And because it's not relevant in our culture, people don't think it's relevant to them. So I think culture has a really big part in like adding this relevance of the environment to people's lives. Because otherwise, like, why would the environment matter to anyone unless it's like a part of like our culture and our daily life?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was great.
Cool.
I guess my first thought is like our culture is based on like things that are relevant to us, things you're interacting with, and you're making culture from like what you know. And so if our whole world is like based in the natural environment or just the environment that we're in, culture will have to be ingrained with that. It's like this sort of like, I don't know, symbiotic relationship or whatever. So yeah, I think like it would be directly connected because our culture flourishes in the environment that we're in and helps shape the culture or whatever.
Studies have shown that women tend to be greener than men in society.
What?
A survey found that 41% of women versus 27% of men cite eco-friendly living as a daily goal. Another study found that more women than men want to use reusable shopping bags. Women are more likely to reduce household energy use, and more women than men said they would make a green New Year's resolution. Look at this cute couple right here. I wonder what their New Year's resolutions are. Let's go ask them. Hey!
Hi.
Could I ask you guys, possibly, what your New Year's resolutions are?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to go first?
I really, really want to learn how to break dance.
Breakdance.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Cool stuff. How about you?
I think I'm gonna start using like reusable bags at the supermarket because I've been trying to be more sustainable lately.
Oh, cool.
And I think I'm gonna start walking to work and school instead of riding like a car or anything like that.
Wow, that's awesome. Further studies show that women respond more positively to environmentally friendly advertising, and that women decision makers in businesses are more environmentally conscious than men.
While the portrayal of women as subordinate to men or as merely decorative has decreased over time, some sports advertisements continue to portray women as alluring sex objects. Roxy Surfat in 2014 represents women as passive objects of the male gaze, instead of representing women as active, independent, and powerful. Sexist imagery of men and women and the way they interact with nature suggests the problem of gender role in advertising is not an easy problem to solve. the negative impact of stereotypical advertising and its detrimental effects upon women's self-concepts, achievement motivations, and self-images are widely acknowledged. Females are represented in adverts as decorations inserted in the ad as a sex object, while men are portrayed in business attire or sports settings. When women are portrayed in sports settings, they engage with the environment in a sexual way and are not usually portrayed as an athlete but more as a model.
J'aime la vie, j'aime le soleil. Je regarde les fleurs bleues. Soleil. J'aime la vie, j'aime le soleil.
Gender is directly connected to people and the power relations in our society. Despite progress in gender role power dynamics in our world, women still have the underhand in the political decisions revolving our environment, the economic decisions made to help promote sustainability, and the social expectations of what jobs or tasks individuals should perform. Ironically, women are disproportionately impacted more by the negative consequences of environmental damage in comparison to their male counterparts. This ties back to the idea of gender roles and gender norms in society. Women are often subjected to marginalized jobs and are expected to pursue their gendered household roles. For example, over 3 million women have died of indoor air pollution in the third world because they cooked with biomass that pollutes the air in their homes. Easy to fix, right? Wrong. A project provided low-cost stoves that reduced the carbon footprint of cooking, but many women ultimately did not buy them because they did not have the authority to make such decisions in their households. Since women have such an intimate relationship with environmental issues, they are key into developing solutions for environmental sustainability and improving the current state of our natural world. 2 of the Millennium Development Goals are to promote gender equality and empower women, as well as ensure environmental sustainability. Rather than looking at these as separate goals, we should acknowledge that they are linked. To improve one goal, we must improve the other as well.
While most groups and communities are continuously affected by environmental issues and have the agency to make eco-friendly decisions, some minorities, such as Aboriginals, don't. Thousands of years ago, Aboriginal people lived according to efficient laws and ways of interacting with the environment to meet their needs. Aboriginal peoples lived in tribes and were nomadic. They moved from place to place in search of food and water. However, they did not farm the land, plant or harvest crops, or herd animals. However, after British settlement in the late 18th century, Aboriginal access to land and water resources was unfairly reduced. The settlers took the view that Aboriginal people with nomadic lifestyle could easily be driven away from their lands. By the 1870s, all the fertile areas of Australia had been taken from Aboriginal people who were left with no place to live and nowhere to hunt food. Already weakened by the new diseases spread by the new settlers, Aboriginal people had dramatically reduced chances for survival. Unfortunately, despite political and environmental officials promising to include Aboriginals in decisions regarding the use of land, Aboriginals have continued to be excluded. In May 2016, the Northern Territory government granted a major water license for a cattle station near Pine Creek to use almost 14 billion liters of water a year to irrigate crops. In response, the Northern Land Council, which represents Aboriginal landholders, called for a moratorium on all further water allocations in the territory, claiming the government had not fully consulted the community about the license. Water continues to be allocated to other users without taking account of traditional owners' long-standing cultural and economic practices with regard to land and water, stretching back thousands of years. By and large, Aboriginal people recognize the case for economic development, not least because of the employment opportunities it creates for their own communities, but they also know the importance of protecting their country, particularly the sacred sites.